2026 is gearing up to be one of the most important years in the history of draft, and in this video I want to talk about why. For starters, the Pro Tour and Magic Spotlight series are going to be featuring draft a little bit more in 2026, and in some pretty significant ways when it comes to the Pro Tour. The Pro Tour is typically a mix of limited and constructed, with 3 rounds of limited each day, 5 rounds of constructed, and then constructed in the top 8. However, in 2026, for the first time since Pro Tour Kuala Lumpur in 2008, we are going to have the top 8 being a Marvel Superheroes booster draft. Not that they were drafting that in 2008, but it's the first time there's been draft in the top 8 of a Pro Tour since 2008, which is a very significant milestone for the format, and it's going to really showcase draft on the Sunday stage. It means they think draft is important. It means they think that draft is going to be a very key part of the game, and that players want to see it at the highest level. It could also mean that they really wanted to showcase the Marvel cards, and there was no guarantee that the Marvel cards would be in the constructed format, so they wanted to make sure they got shown off in the top 8. Maybe that's a contract thing, but regardless, it's going to be really nice for Limited to get that kind of exposure on the Sunday stage at the highest level at the Pro Tour. There are also 3 Magic the Gathering Spotlight Series events for Limited this year. There is Magic Spotlight Lorwyn Eclipsed, which is limited, similar to how last year there was Magic Spotlight Series in Denver for Tarkir Dragonstorm, but there are also 2 more Spotlight Series for Limited, one in Las Vegas, one in Brussels, Belgium. And if these events are successes, we can only expect to see more Limited going forward. And it's looking like the Spotlight Series in Toronto is going to be a success because it's almost sold out, and this is a month before the event even takes place. 1,500 slots, 195 left. So that's a really encouraging sign for the Spotlight Series, and if they can keep doing well, then it's likely that we're going to be able to keep seeing events like this in the future. There is also a bunch of events that are going to be coming for 2027, and that is because of the Magic the Gathering Limited Championship, which is basically like a Pro Tour just for Limited coming in 2027, with a huge number of qualifier events firing throughout 2026 in person, and it's going to be a big deal for 2027. Seeing how these qualifier events do is going to be absolutely essential, because if this event is a big success, I see no reason why they wouldn't add this as an annual event or do it in the future again. The 27 Magic Limited Championship, because of the qualifying process taking place all through 2026, provides a lot more incentive to potentially go to events that are more focused on constructed, like regional championships that maybe have side events that are these qualifiers for limited championship. And if that can draw more attendance at these events, that could be really, really great for the format and show the people that are organizing these events that Limited is something that people really like to see. So this can be a really turning point for Limited as well. And also it's introducing the Arena Limited Championship, which unfortunately does come at the cost of the Arena Opens, which are some of my favorite formats and have been very popular formats. But the Arena Limited Championship is going to be similar to the 27 Magic Limited Championship. In fact, you can qualify for the Limited Championship by doing well in the Arena Championship, but there's going to be 4 different Limited Championship qualifier events throughout the year. The event structure is a little bit brutal and not quite I don't like it as much as I like the Arena Opens, but that's neither here nor there. They're trying to make a giant limited tournament that's just focused on limited, because sure, they have the qualifier weekends where sometimes the format is limited that will qualify you for the Arena Championships, but the Arena Championships are generally focused on constructed in many ways, or at least a blend, I believe. So the fact that they're going to have the 2027 Limited Championship format, a tournament just about limited, is really, really encouraging to see, especially because, as I said, the last time there was a tournament that was just draft at the highest level for Pro Tour level things was in Kuala Lumpur in 2008. John Finkel won that tournament, and no surprise, he's a great player, but it's one of those things that seeing Limited come back to these high stages and these high stakes events is really, really encouraging, with the Pro Tour, the Pro Tour, the Spotlight Series, and the Limited Championships. There is one other thing that I want to note, and that is that there are going to be 7 draftable sets coming to MTG Arena in 2026. This could be a big hit, or it could be a bit of a miss, depending on if they execute on all of these sets. I think it's generally safe to say that it's better to have all sets that are good versus more sets and then having some of them miss. I think we saw that with Spider-Man this year, where that set was a bit of a miss, and it created this awkward phase for like a month on Arena where a lot of players didn't really want to play draft, and that that really wasn't good for the format. This year, there are 7 sets. I mean, last year there were kind of 7 sets because of Innistrad Remastered being a draftable set, but that didn't come to Arena, so I'm not counting it here. And it was like a remastered set, so it's not the exact same thing. But 7 sets. There are going to be some sets, I think, that are smaller towards the size of Spider-Man. Hopefully they can execute on those. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is going to be a huge thing to keep an eye on for in March, because that set is around the size of Spider-Man. It's also a Universes Beyond set. It's also set in New York City. And that as a marker could indicate how sets like The Hobbit do later in the year, which might be a smaller set as well, that we don't know as much about The Hobbit and Star Trek quite yet. But these sets coming up, I mean, Marvel Superhero is definitely going to be a full release. They've already confirmed that, and especially because that's going to be the format for the top 8 of the Pro Tour, that's going to be a format that's also going to get a lot of scrutiny. So with so many sets coming out, will they be able to execute to a high standard? That remains to be seen, but especially the in-universe sets, I'm very excited for Lorwyn Eclipse. That's going to be the format for the Spotlight Series in Toronto, a major tournament for Limited, and definitely one to be checking out. And hopefully it does well. It looks like it's selling out almost already a month in advance, and that's a really encouraging sign for Limited as a format. Anyway, those are my thoughts on Limited in 2026. It looks like it's going to be a big year, potential turning point for many things. If the Arena Limited Championship can be a success, that can really set the bar for what Arena is going to do for Limited in the future. If the Limited Championship qualifiers are a success this year and the Limited Championship in 2027 is a big hit, they could maybe even do one of those a year or one of those every couple years, and it could be really good for Limited and Draft and people who really enjoy this format. If the Pro Tour Top 8 Draft gets good viewership and they do a good job of explaining it and it's a good draft format, that could also mean that Draft comes back to the Pro Tours themselves in a more significant way, maybe having a Draft Pro Tour, though I think instead of a Draft Pro Tour, they're hopefully going to be looking at these Limited Championships as kind of a similar thing. They have very similar prize structures and things like that. I think 2026 is gearing up to be a big year, as I already said. I'd love to hear what you think about that in the comment section down below, but I hope you enjoyed this overview of all the big things coming to Limited in 2026, and I'll talk to you next time.